Okay, let's start by picturing the intensive care unit. It is an incredibly high-stakes environment, right? You've got doctors and nurses making life-or-death decisions every single minute. They are surrounded by this constant flood of data from monitors, from lab results, from patient charts. It's like a symphony of information that holds the key to whether a patient lives or dies. The pressure is just immense.
But what if you could see a crisis coming before it actually hits? What if technology could act as a kind of early warning system, giving doctors that crucial head start to step in and save a life? Well, that is the big question we are diving into here. Can artificial intelligence actually learn to predict a medical emergency in the ICU?
All right, so to really get the solution, we first have to understand the problem. The core challenge for doctors in the ICU, it isn't a lack of information. It's the complete opposite. It's an overload of it.
And this really highlights a human limit. I mean, think about it. A clinician has to process multiple streams of data. Heart rate, blood pressure, lab results, all at the same time. They're juggling complex, unique patient histories, and they've got to make split-second decisions. It is incredibly difficult for a person to track all those signals at once. But you know what? This is exactly where algorithms excel. They are built to process these huge, complex data streams without ever getting overwhelmed.
So, to meet this challenge, researchers developed a new kind of AI to be that smarter crystal ball. Now, this isn't just another algorithm. It's a model specifically designed to think about patient data in a completely new way.
It's called a graph convolutional neural network. Yeah, I know, that's a mouthful. But the concept behind it is actually beautiful in its simplicity. It learns from two key dimensions. First, it looks at a patient's history as it unfolds over time. And second, it understands the hidden relationships between all the different vital signs in what we can think of as space.
And folks, this is the game changer. Thinking in both time and space gives this AI two distinct superpowers. You see, a lot of previous models, they missed the full picture because they just couldn't grasp how all these different signals were connected to each other. So let's break down how this new approach builds a much more complete picture.
So, you can think of this AI as having two minds working together. The temporal view, that's the storyteller. It's always asking, what happened before? And it learns the plot twists in a patient's health that lead up to a crisis. Then you have the graph view. That's the networker. It's asking, how are all these signals related? It sees the body's data not as a bunch of separate numbers, but as a deeply interconnected system.
Here's why that's so important. The temporal view gives the AI context. So instead of just seeing a single alarming blood pressure reading, it sees the entire movie, the slow dip, the sudden spike, the patterns that emerge over hours or even days. It's capturing those long-term dependencies that a human in the heat of the moment might just miss.
And then, the graph view. Well, it reveals the invisible connections. I love this analogy. Think of it like a social network for the body. The AI learns that when heart rate posts an update, it's not happening in a vacuum. Blood pressure and oxygen level are going to react, and the model understands that whole web of influence. It's literally learning the rules of how the body's systems talk to each other.
Okay, so that's the theory. With these two superpowers, how did the AI actually perform in the real world? To find out, researchers tested it on a massive dataset from thousands of real ICU patient records. And they focused on predicting two critical interventions: the need for a ventilator and the need for blood pressure-supporting drugs called vasopressors.
The results were absolutely stunning. For predicting whether a patient would need mechanical ventilation, previous models were hovering around 81.6% accuracy. This new AI, it jumped to almost 92%. I mean, that is a massive leap forward in predictive power.
And you know what? It wasn't a one-off. For predicting the need for vasopressors, the model again showed a huge improvement, jumping from about 76% accuracy to almost 83%. It was just consistently better at seeing trouble on the horizon.
But, overall accuracy doesn't tell the whole story, especially when you're trying to predict rare events like a sudden crisis. For that, you need a smarter metric called the F1 score. Basically, a higher F1 score means the model is more balanced. It's not just good at predicting when things are fine, it's also really good at correctly flagging when a crisis is about to happen. And on this metric, the new AI just blew past the previous best.
So the model is accurate. We've established that. But honestly, that's only half the battle. The biggest hurdle for AI in medicine has always been the black box problem. If doctors don't understand why an AI is making a recommendation, they can't trust it. So the real breakthrough here isn't just the accuracy, it's about making the AI understandable.
This is really the million-dollar question, isn't it?
An AI can be right 99% of the time, but if its reasoning is a total mystery, it's basically useless in a clinical setting. So can we actually look inside its brain and understand its logic?
And the answer is a resounding yes. When the researchers looked at which features the AI paid the most attention to when predicting the need for ventilation, they found it was focusing on clinically meaningful data. It watched respiratory rate, key lab results like LDH, vital signs like blood pressure. It even learned that a patient's weight is critical, which every doctor knows is essential for setting a ventilator correctly. It wasn't looking at random noise, it was thinking like a clinician.
And this brings us to the final, powerful conclusion from the research paper itself. The AI uses, quote, clinically meaningful and appropriate features. And that's the whole point. This isn't about replacing doctors. It's about creating a transparent tool that helps clinicians see connections they might have missed, empowering them to make more informed, more precise decisions for their patients.
This work just opens up such a fascinating future. It proves that we can build AI that is not only powerful, but also trustworthy. And it really leaves us with this provocative thought. If we can teach an AI to predict a crisis in the ICU, what other medical mysteries, from sepsis to cancer, could this kind of transparent AI help us solve next?